Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nite of Misfortune bringing you the intro, I suppose, to the upcoming semifinal match between FoxTermelon and SoulRipper. Joining with me today, thankfully, is Spiff. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well, thanks. I'm excited to see this match. We got two really good players about to face off. Remind me, Knight, which round is this again? Is this the
So,
semifinal or the final?
this is the semifinal match. We had the first semifinal between Magenra and Vanity a couple of days ago. Of course, I'm not going to spoil this in this video in case you have not seen that. Well, actually, you'll probably see it in the upcoming slide. I should have probably removed it. Anyway, yeah, Magenra won that match. Now we're going to see who is going to join him between these two awesome players. So,
Man, that's going to be exciting too.
yeah, so we already have the bans and the picks coming up. So this will be a best out of three. So game number one is, of course, FoxTermelon's pick. He picked QAI Labs. And game two will be SoulRipper's pick, which was Etched Desert. And then the tiebreaker, if we need it, will be on Open Palms, and SoulRipper will have the first faction choice. So, which map are you kind of looking forward to, Spiff?
Um, I think that game two is going to
Yep.
be the most exciting. I think we all know, if anyone's been paying attention to the recent game replays tournament, I think we all know what's going to happen on QAI Labs.
Yes, indeed. And it's curious that I don't know how much of that tournament you got to see, especially with FoxTermelon, but it's curious that SoulRipper picked UEF for that map, or for any map in general. And also curious he went random. But did you see any of that tournament?
Yeah, I did catch a good portion of it. And I remember what SoulRipper was also saying in your stream chat the other day, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's possible that he might not have a whole lot of ideas to counter the TML that we all know is coming.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Otherwise, these players I think are fairly well matched. Of course, FoxTermelon is ranking fourth currently in the SCS, and FoxTermelon and SoulRipper is ranking seventh in that ranking, and both of them have had very strong showings in the league and also in the tournaments. In the game replays one yesterday, so it'll be fairly interesting to see. As you can see from the statistics viewpoint, FoxTermelon is undefeated. Well, actually, he is defeated, but there was only one match that he lost, and that was all the way back in the Serpents Open Winter, and that was 6 months ago.
I imagine he's been putting in a lot of practice since then.
Yeah, it's crazy. He sends me like these statistics about maps, like radar coverages of how much the radar covers for the map, and I'm like, this guy goes to the next level. He reminds me a lot of Polar Bear. I think he just wins a crazy amount and undefeated in the league and undefeated so far in this season. So that's crazy. That's crazy to me. A single map dropped. A single map dropped in the past. I don't even remember how many games that I've cast with him. So, in terms of predictions, I mean, that kind of sets a pretty one-sided mood. But what do you think? Who are you looking to win here, or who do you think will win, and what do you think the score will be?
Well, I mean, I'm always hoping that the score is going to be 2-1 because I want a good
Yeah,
series.
yeah,
Um, I guess it just, man, it's so hard to say. I mean, we all know what's going to happen on QAI Labs.
yeah.
Um, we'll see if SoulRipper has any ideas to deal with that. And then I think, again, game two is just really going to be the turning point of the match. Can
Yeah,
SoulRipper pull one out and take it to game three?
for sure. We did see an interesting game on Etched Desert between Vanity and Magenra in that series. That was pretty epic. But indeed, I would have to agree with you. I'm hoping for a 2-1, but I think it's going to depend largely what SoulRipper pulls from random in that game 1. And yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 FoxTermelon. He's just looking too good. No offense to SoulRipper, but Fox is just incredible lately. So we'll see what he can do. Let's hope for game 3. And we're going to be right back with the match. We're going to set it up and get in the game. Stay tuned. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nite of Misfortune bringing you Game 1 in the semifinal between FoxTermelon and SoulRipper. I'm joined by Spiff. Who do we got playing?
Hello, everyone. Over here on the right-hand side of QAI Labs, spawning in as the yellow Aeon commander is SoulRipper, who has dropped down a quick air factory to scout out his opponent. Quick note, SoulRipper did go random here and happened to pull Aeon. Who do we have on the other side, Nite?
On the other side, we have our white Aeon commander with the name of FoxTermelon. Of course, both of these players do come from the clan AA, and both of them are from Europe, I guess. I thought for a second there I was going to say SoulRipper was from Russia, but that is not correct. There's the, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, but Fox kept doing this research generator trick.
Yeah, so I guess the idea behind it is since it uses up the resources to build, even though he hasn't actually started building it yet, it does show up on the score screen when you hit F2. So savvy players will be keeping an eye on that score screen to get a clue as to what their opponent might be doing. And having that research station boosting the score can maybe give a false signal.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting. And in the meantime, we do have 2 air factories, well, one for each player, coming out on the map. So the players are mirroring each other, and both of them are queuing up land factories. And it will be interesting because we did see FoxTermelon do this yesterday the whole way through, pretty much, where he was getting 1 land and 1 TML underneath the shield. It will be interesting to see if both of them decide to do it at the same time. That would be... have you ever seen a double TML from 2 players?
I think it's probably happened once or twice in like one of our clan games where someone just tried it out and it was too ridiculously powerful, so the other person did exactly the same thing the next game.
I
but
get
never in a tournament game.
I get triggered every time there's like a small building, a small square being placed on the map. I'm like, is that a TML? But no, that's just the radar.
Yeah, we're not seeing a TML from FoxTermelon here, and in fact, I think maybe this factory placement tells us that we won't see one, at least not right away.
Yes, and Air is pretty much equal at this point. SoulRipper is just a little bit ahead on his build, I think, getting those two land factories down. Of course, there's no radar, but at this point, I actually have to agree with him is that it's not really needed, especially if he's seen that land factory, and he might be getting a radar on his forward land factory as well. So that was just fine for him.
I don't see a radar being built right now.
Yeah, he's still in the dark, so more than likely he will have to send an engineer up front, just like he's doing, actually, just as I say that, to scout out and see.
He does get some radar from these planes as well.
Yes, indeed, but it's a little bit more dangerous to send a plane. You don't want to give your opponent any kind of edge at this point in time, so he's going to try and save it and send an engineer and his ACU and going to try to push this out if he can. The tanks are a little bit on the Fox's side in terms of numbers, and there's, well, actually, no, there's 6 versus 6 right now, so this is going to be an even fight.
But we do have these TMLs that might manage to snipe down a building while the tanks fight.
Yes, let's see if his control is great. Oftentimes I see players lumping those two into the same control group or controlling them together, which doesn't really allow the MMLs to really fire as much as they could, and that results from them not sniping enough of buildings. You see an air engagement happening as well.
You know, that's partly a style thing, though, too, because I feel like in a game like this where you can zoom out practically instantly, it can sometimes be easier just to not use control groups. I don't always use them. Oh. Well,
Wow,
SoulRipper went in, and he didn't come out.
Yeah, there was 2 fights happening there. I was trying to follow them both, seeing whose tanks had the most training, and right as I go in to check, SoulRipper blows up. I guess I should have been monitoring the health of the ACUs a little bit more closely, but that was very quick. FoxTermelon was barely at half health when the ACU detonated, so that was a very, very quick resolution, Spiff.
Yeah, blink and you miss it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do a better job second game. Hopefully SoulRipper can pull it out. Of course, it's gonna be on Etched Desert, so we will be right back in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 between FoxTermelon and SoulRipper on Etched Desert. This is, of course, again, the semifinal of the League Season 2. And who do we got playing over there on the left, Spiff?
Well, on the left we have I'm sorry, that's SoulRipper, isn't it? SoulRipper spawning in as the yellow UEF commander. We got a nice big map here, Etched Desert, so he's going for eco, and we're going to have to wait a minute to see... Oh, maybe not. There's an air factory. Who do we have on the other side?
On the other side, his opponent also starting with 1 air factory. Going to be trying to contest with that UEF air. We have our white Aeon commander, FoxTermelon. And we do see this opening quite frequently on this map, of course, since it is a much bigger map. It is much more favorable for air, and oftentimes we do see these 2 factions facing off if it's not a mirror match, and it's pretty close between them, I want to say, and we've seen some great matches between these 2 factions.
We do see a second air factory coming out for FoxTermelon.
Yeah, so no TML this time, guys.
This would be a bad map for it. TML range is just not big enough to really take an early advantage on a map like this. You got to push way to the center.
I think I've seen Rainbows do it once on this.
Yeah, but that's Rainbows.
Yeah, that's Rainbows. Rainbows just pulls out everything. She's incredible. She actually was in the top 4 for the longest time in this league season, and just slipped out at over the course of the last couple of weeks, and I was very, very sad for her. So hopefully she'll have a strong showing at the summer tournament that's coming up here soon.
Yeah, Rainbows. I just feel like Rainbows is the one person who can kind of make anything work. I've seen Rainbows pull the most ridiculous strategies, and somehow they click.
Rainbows is just super unpredictable. Yeah, I would have to agree with you. She just one match she takes out TML. The other match she pulls out air. The other match she like rushes you with her commander with the Shajas, and it's so crazy. It's so hard to predict, but she's amazing. Anyway, we got this match. We had a scout coming from SoulRipper that got picked off. Probably seen the double air factory, and he plopped down the second one for himself as well.
Both players just spreading out around the map here.
Yes, of course, SoulRipper did build that extra engineer, which will allow him to spread out a little bit faster. And in addition, FoxTermelon is actually sending his engineer directly over to the top there. And SoulRipper might not be prepared for this quick of engineer engagement there, so he might miss that.
And there's really not a ton that he can do about it at this point either. UEF Wasps don't shoot down.
Yep.
And if FoxTermelon decides to pull off a sacrifice capture, well, too bad.
And unfortunately for our UEF player also is, despite the UEF having such a big advantage in terms of production, he only started with one air factory, and you definitely have more mass to build. You can squeeze out actually quite a bit from your starting mass. You can go 2 air factories and a resource station. It'll be a little harder, but we've seen him on one mass or on one air factory for a while without building any factories. I guess he was saving some money for the expansion, but now it might come back to bite him because of what you mentioned, Spiff, those bombing planes from FoxTermelon.
Well, this engineer should be on radar by now.
Double radar. There's 2 engineers there for some reason.
Well, and there's this radar station on the platform here on the mesa.
FoxTermelon Scout gets picked off. Good map awareness from SoulRipper. And so far, no any kind of progression from either one of these players. There's an engineer coming in, so let's see. Okay, SoulRipper does pull it back. Third air factories for each player coming out at almost exactly the same time.
And they're just about are they even on mass?
They are
pretty
because
close.
Fox decided not to use his second engineer, and for some reason there's 2 engineers for SoulRipper up in the top.
I think he pulled one of those engineers built that mass extractor, and the other one built the radar station. And I think he pulled the radar station one back to help defend against this engineer.
What do you think about these 2 quick bombers coming out?
I like it. You don't need that much, just enough to pick away at that engineer until it's gone.
That's true, but it looks like he keeps prioritizing bombers, and if he's not too careful to balance his numbers, UEF can lose this fight here. There's a sack capture coming out, and FoxTermelon actually manages to capture that mass extractor.
It'll be promptly captured back for no real big loss there.
Most likely it will be controlled Kate, actually. Yeah, there we go. And now he can rebuild it.
Yeah, a minor annoyance.
Yeah, quickly rebuilds it, continues to expand with all 3 engineers, and a 5th air factory coming down for SoulRipper before Fox's even 4th factory. And there is no expansion for this. There's very minimal. He's now definitely behind on mass, and this is beginning to look very good for SoulRipper here. In addition, there's really no way he can expand. Fox cannot expand to the north here because he lost that engineer.
He did rebuild another one and is setting it to start filling some of those mass extractors to the north. But he is a bit behind there. SoulRipper's back to making fighters.
Yeah, definitely not a bad idea. He needs to scout just to make sure that FoxTermelon is still on his present course, because I would say this is a little weird that the air was not supporting that engineer push. I would have expected, like you were, to have one or two of those SoulRipper's engineers to die by bombing.
I don't know. It has been a little while since the last scout, and it looks like FoxTermelon is pulling some of his air back to keep it hidden. Or trying to, anyways.
Definitely a good move, but I think the scout getting through and seeing 3 land factories with no research and no any other kind of follow-up, he'll be able to guess that it's pretty much pure air at this point.
Yeah, where else could the mass have been going?
Yeah, there's a 4th air factory for Fox. Still 5 for SoulRipper. I would have loved to see his commander push forward at this point. There's really nothing stopping him from doing so. He might be a little afraid of that potential snipe. Of course, with Aeon, you do have to wait. And, you know, if I had to guess what FoxTermelon is doing at this point is he's just going to sit back and wait for teleport on that air and going to try and snipe his opponent.
Most likely, that is a very efficient strategy.
You know, I actually haven't seen too much of teleporting air from Aeon on these bigger maps, which I would expect them to get.
Especially if they ended up with gunships at some point.
So row of energy generators going down. So I think my prediction so far is panning to be true. There's some bombers coming in for... Nope, they're going to turn around. SoulRipper already managing to fill out all of his expansions and now moving forward with 1 engineer. I would love to see another radar being built there just to keep tabs on all this air. Actually, he needs radars in the north. Actually, probably not the north, but definitely the south and maybe higher up into the center.
Yeah, that would be a nice boost to his map knowledge, or map awareness, rather. We do see those bombers taking that engineer down, though. One more pass might do it there.
First research station from SoulRipper. Meanwhile, Fox has not went into research yet. Engineer goes down before that radar is completed. That's going to be quite a important step here for SoulRipper to deny that vision.
Especially with this land factory that SoulRipper has put down in the bottom, he could pump a few bots out of that and send them in to harass.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think he watched the games yesterday.
Yeah, it's a very Iron Commander factory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if he can manage to pull those planes away to the north.
Oh, that radar is so close to dying. He heard me. He built the radar farther farther down towards Fox. Radar goes down, and now FoxTermelon is completely blind. There's another radar being built, and it's a little dangerous for SoulRipper to bomb that right now because Fox's air is right there.
More energy generators going up in the north as well. We see more air factories. I think we might be headed towards AC-1Ks here.
Yeah, that is definitely a good progression for UEF, but I'm becoming more and more concerned about this potential snipe. And I did miss a radar here for SoulRipper over here in the north, so he's going to be able to see the flanks coming. But you do have to be so careful with that Aeon teleport that you position your planes not too far out, because there's still a possibility of a snipe from that.
Got kind of a gentleman's agreement here. I won't attack you, you won't attack me.
I think it's SoulRipper being a little bit too passive here. FoxTermelon's game plan is, I'm pretty sure on this map from what I've seen him doing, is just to tech up to teleport and try to snipe his opponent as quickly as possible. Are these guys just gonna max out their air?
They might have had an actual agreement.
Yeah. No, but the longer this goes, the more dangerous it becomes for UEF, I think. Even those with those AC-1Ks, they're just not able to fly across the map as quickly as the teleport can get the Aeon's air across.
And FoxTermelon is starting to move his ACU down towards the south a little bit more. I don't think that's because he needed more room to build. I think he just kind of wants to have his ACU in a less predictable location than the main base.
Yes, but this also takes away the ACU from all the potential shields of the factories if the ACs come down. But in all honesty, 3 ACs will break through any shields pretty decisively.
That's very true.
Those bombers need to keep moving. Oh, are they not seeing that engineer? That's unfortunate. Gonna get picked off by those nice split from Fox. There's now shields on both air fleets here. And quite a bit of research coming from SoulRipper. I am 100% positive that if he wanted to get AC-1Ks by this time, he would have done so. And a nice, finally, that factory is coming into play, doing a nice split. There's also an air engagement happening here. Those flares coming into work, and this is just too confusing to call when this air starts happening. There's a lot of air sitting for SoulRipper actually, but there just looks like to be a lot of yellow here. Might be because of
I
the
think
map.
SoulRipper's winning based on watching the score.
That is true.
Always hard to tell, but looks
Yes,
like SoulRipper's air is coming
SoulRipper
through.
has won this fight. That is just a graveyard of airplanes right there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the strength of UEF Air. FoxTermelon calls GG. And we have your wish, Spiff. We are going to game 3. My prediction was totally wrong. And we do see FoxTermelon drop a map for the second time in this league. So we will be right back with Game 3 on Open Palms. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 3 after that amazing comeback from SoulRipper in Game 2. We are on Open Palms for the tiebreaker match. Spiff, who do we got as our players?
Well, up here on the top side, spawning in as the yellow Aeon Commander, we have SoulRipper. And he is dropping down a very quick land factory. Who do we have on the other side?
On the other side, we have yet another mirror, and there's a bunch of research coming down. You know, that's not true. If that was the case, if he would have put them down and it would have jumped in research, wouldn't it be jumping the whole time?
But what it says Nite. It says Nite and Steel.
Oh, okay. There needs to be a heart.
I'm pretty sure.
All right, anyway, sorry. I did not introduce the player that's doing this. It is our white Aeon Commander spawning in, as always. I mean, you can guess what faction he is. He's, of course, our Aeon Commander. Putting down 2 land factories. We have not seen him do this too much so far. Mirror builds also.
And what's the name of that player?
FoxTermelon, did I not say it? Oh my god.
I don't think you did.
Sorry, I got distracted by my name being written on the map in giant letters. But yeah, mirror builds, mirror factions. Well, how are you feeling about this one, Spiff?
Well, it looks like SoulRipper wants to get real aggressive, so that should be fun.
Yeah, moving over there to the left-hand side, already has 1 mobile missile launcher out, and that engineer, we'll see what he decides to queue up with that engineer. I think that will tell if there's going to be an immediate all-out push, or if he's just trying to set up a base over there on the top.
kind of wonder why, if he's looking to push straight away, why he didn't take the high ground there.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I think indicates he wants to play a little bit more of a reserved game where he does want to try to go for the late game as well. He also did not get that mass extractor on the bottom, so I'm really guessing that he's setting up a positional war here.
I mean, it's an aggressive move either way.
Yeah, with these MMLs, all these tanks really need to do is cover. FoxTermelon is going to do something very, very smart. He's going to send a tank into that mix to see if there are Shajas, which there is just the first Shaja coming out, so he might overcompensate for this, although there's no shot coming in. FoxTermelon on pure tank right now. That engineer flank, though, that might be GG right there.
It could be.
Nice block by FoxTermelon's commander on those mobile missile launchers. Might have been an accident, though. I'm giving him too much credit.
That mass extractor does go down. Nice early win for SoulRipper.
Shajas are facing the wrong way, and I would have loved to see a shield on this factory right now because of that composition. It is a little bit more awkward than FoxTermelon's. Oh, man. This is another focus on the commander here.
SoulRipper's losing health a little bit faster, but now he's getting healed.
No, that's a Shaja, I think, getting healed. Oh my god, this is so close. FoxTermelon escaping. Oh my god, are you serious? Oh!
What are the league rules on both ACUs detonating?
In this case, because this is a playoff match, we're going to replay the map with same factions. That was incredible. At the last second, I thought FoxTermelon was going to win with literally 50 health remaining. That was crazy. We're going to replay the map. We'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the replay of the match number 3. We're going to quickly reintroduce the players. Who do we got playing, Spiff?
Down here on the bottom, again as the yellow Aeon commander, we have SoulRipper. And who's up on top?
And on top, his opponent, both of them are starting with a little bit of a different build here. We have FoxTermelon, the white Aeon commander, starting with one land factory, and his opponent is also doing the same.
Second land factory queued up for SoulRipper, and a research station queued up for FoxTermelon.
Yeah. Oh, now there's a research station. I was going to say we have the same builds coming out, but looks like both of them are going to stick to their base. FoxTermelon is actually going to expand towards the back a little bit here.
Yeah, I think he's looking to play more of a defensive game until he's able to capitalize on that extra research income.
Definitely not a bad idea. Could be a little bit difficult if his opponent decides to go air, of course, but we see that that is not the case. No radar out so far, but you're really able to tell if there's no scout coming in. You can be fairly confident that there's no air unless there's a gunship snipe, and then you're in real trouble.
Well, you know me, I like to play more Mimi strats, so sometimes I do like to open to air and hide my air, and then when suddenly 12 or 15 bombers come in and start taking shit out, the opponent's like, oh man, I didn't do anything about that.
I don't think I've seen you do a double air opening in a 1v1s against me, though, and hiding it.
Yeah, I don't think I've done it against you in a while. Oh, we do see a TML come out for SoulRipper.
Oh my god. But, you know, this is looking good for Fox because he does have that research station.
I almost wonder if Fox didn't see this coming.
Well, now he does.
Very good control from SoulRipper, retargeting after the first 2 volleys, I think. Did he?
Yes, he did. And of course, I don't remember how it was in the previous patch or pre-patch long time ago. Were you able to heal mass extractors and keep them alive from TML fire? Because I feel like you were able to, and now because they switched them to be lower health, you can't do that anymore. I knew it took 2 shots to kill them, but I thought you could heal them.
I'm not sure. I haven't tested it in a while. We do see slip tacks out now for FoxTermelon, so yeah, that research station definitely coming in handy here.
But now there's a push from SoulRipper, and SoulRipper only managed to get 1 anti-missile unit, or sorry, only 1 mass extractor with that TML. So that does not really pay off, I would say. He's going to be pushing with an ACU and an engineer again, but the difference here is that he doesn't have MMLs here, and that will hurt him quite a bit, I think.
I'm not sure in this situation, since there's already slip tacks out, you'd need a lot of MMLs. It's maybe a better thing to switch into later on after you've established a foothold. But with those slip tacks out right now and the amount of MMLs that he could reasonably have in this army and still not die, I don't think they would do that much good.
Yeah, I think you may be right. I keep forgetting about those slip tags being able to counter MML fire as well. I don't know why. But of course they can. There's a offensive factory coming down. Of course, there is a possibility of MMLs coming out from Fox, which might be very good in this situation. And I'm a little bit concerned about the follow-up to this from SoulRipper, because no engineers are expanding from him right now.
Yeah, this is a fairly all-in strategy here. And FoxTermelon is going to be catching up on factories pretty soon with his superior economy.
Yeah, I think this game will be decided here in the next minute or so. That PD is going to be crucial to stopping this advance. And SoulRipper needs to probably go around. There's Shajas now coming out. Oh my goodness, this is going to be extremely difficult to push into. Well, SoulRipper is going directly into there. That is not what you want to do. His ACU health is just melting away. FoxTermelon just targets that down, and but the land forces for Fox are also dwindling here. But that's not going to be enough.
Another very quick game.
Yeah, that was not enough. Those Shajas were doing quite a bit of work, and unfortunately SoulRipper does go down, although Fox survives with barely, well, I guess 2,500 health on that ACU. So that was game 3, everybody. FoxTermelon does end up managing to go to the finals to face Magenra. That is going to be happening sometime at the end of next week. So please join us for that. Right now, I want to thank all of you for watching, and thank Spiff for joining me. And we will see you guys in the very near future, hopefully.
Thanks, everyone.